What up, people? This is your boy Gerald, and is the 15th of March, 2016. Is how is everybody doing? You doing all right? This is Tuesday. You already started your week, and I hope wherever you are, you're well. So I'm kind of amazed that I went back. I took a week off pretty much for my birthday, and I've got things I have to do here in my residence that I had put off. So more or less doing some spring cleaning, and in the process, I made the conscious decision. I said, okay, let's go ahead and cut these dreads. Now, the reason I initially embarked in growing dreads was solely for two reasons. One, it had to do with my spirituality, but it was also to show myself something that I had a revelation about. Actually, correction, an epiphany. The epiphany was I had had a dream, and in that dream, God had spoke to me and said, "I'm going to teach you what patience is all about." And while I was in this dreamlike state, God had said, "Grow your hair." Now, for those who know me or had seen any of my videos in the beginning, this was the norm. Keep it tapered, keep it neat, keep it in formation, right? But what I gained from growing my hair, I would not trade. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. The first thing that I learned, you can't find a better form of being patient than watching your hair grow. Because see, that's something we have no control of. We have to more or less adjust to the process. Sure, you can style it, you can cut it, you can dye it, but you can't control the speed of that precious hair follicle. So I learned, but what I also got out of that was I saw a slight contradiction because I started to see that as human beings, we always want what we don't have. And when you take a step back and look at some of your habits that were behaviors that really were spawned by your impulses and desires, you'll come to understand that's the blueprint of what we know as your norm. So your behaviors, the things that you will do subconsciously, because you do have a normal rhythm of how you do things. There's a certain way that you lay in your bed. There's a certain path from your bed that you take to the bathroom. There's a certain way that you go and fix your meals. There's a certain place where you sit at the table when to eat. There's a certain way that when you drive your vehicle, a routine. But we don't take stock on that every time we do it because it's already ingrained inside our psyche. So as I was on embracing that journey of growing my hair, it was a first for one, because I had never had long hair. I was raised as a young boy to always keep your hair manicured, keep it neat, keep it presentable, because your hair, even though unfortunately can set a tone and precedence of how people view you. But you know what I got out of that, y'all? And I'm very proud to share this. My kings, take note. One of the things that stuck out oh so much was the fact that the sacrifice that women, that's right, our queens, that they do just for validation and acceptance of their circles, but the things that they do for their mates. I know, Kings, you're saying, well, what do you mean? My responsibility, really it's not my responsibility because it's her hair. I'll give her some money and out the door she goes. Long as she's happy, I'm happy. Okay, okay, I got that. But I challenge each and every one of you guys. If you have someone significant in your life, may it be a family member or someone that is close to you, go with them. That's right. Go with them and go through the process. Just sit there and watch. Now, you got to be secure with yourself. You have to. No, you're not going to walk through the door and then some gay spirit is going to jump on you and then you're going to be running around. Nah, that's bull. But I encourage so that you have a snapshot. I guarantee you're going to change the way you perceive things too. One of the things that I learned in the process of growing my hair was this. It's painful. I was like, well, how's that, Jerry? You're growing your hair? How much pain is that? Well, for starters, there's a certain regimen you have to do to ensure that your hair is healthy. You can't just go into uh, uh, a technician and they give you a certain look and it maintains till the next time you see them. But what the first thing that got me was when I had to sit under a hair dryer. Fellas, for those who've never grown their hair, you want to know what pain is? Have somebody wash your hair and stick you under that dryer. And I guarantee you, because your pores are open, you'll be willing to tell every secret you know to get from under that hot dryer. So with that being said, there's a conditioning that is required. So what I'm leading to is this. When she goes to get her hair done and you come home or you see her afterwards, all she wants from you is acknowledgement. How about thank you? Because I'm going to tell you what, all that brushing and pulling and twisting, that's agony to a guy. That's some agony for your butt. So what I got out of that experience, right off the bat, I gained compassion. I gained empathy and understanding of the sacrifice that this human being was doing. Now, great. We could easily water it down from a male perspective and say, well, you know what? Doesn't that fall on personal hygiene? Personal hygiene, you want to make sure that your nails are clean and you wash your butt. What's the difference with your hair? Well, it's really easy for us as men. I didn't say boys. I didn't say bad boys. I said men to get so absorbed in what we're doing as an individual to overlook the things they're doing for you. That's right. So if she's taking the time to sit, have them pretty much work miracles, the least you can do is acknowledge that sacrifice. Now, granted, the sacrifice is for herself because she got to wear it. She got to maintain it. But look at this. She's an extension of you. She's a representation of you. So the least you can do is take a step back. Look at what God has hopefully placed in your life and acknowledge, because she's really doing that for herself, but she's seeking the validation of you. And if they genuinely give a damn about you, why would you expect anything less? Unless you just don't care. So that was part of my journey. I grew my hair. Actually, as I grew up, I always had this inkling in my spirit of one day having hair here. I just did. I just knew. And it was in that divine moment in time, God spoke to me. It may not have been God, it may have been an angel. Because angels are real, y'all. Please don't think they not. And that placed me on the journey to lead me back here. So I know you're saying, well, Gerald, if you're going through all this sacrifice, going endured in all that regiment, spent all that money. Oh, Gerald spent a whole lot of money. Once again, this goes back to that empathy. Because, fellas, when we're going grocery shopping, or for those who have that honeydew list, you always wonder, well, why you gotta buy this? That costs XYZ dollars. And we can't relate. Well, let me tell you what. Just to give you peace of mind, just know this. For quality, you're gonna pay. That's why when you go to the grocery store and you look at the foods that are natural, they cost more. For example, you go in the cereal aisle, there's plenty of sugar-based foods and dyes and stuff, and they're anywhere from $3 to $4.15, depending on the box. But haven't you noticed the stuff that is truly good for you? The quantity is smaller, but the price is more. You know why? Because that product is going to benefit that temple, your body, and you are what you eat. So why would you sabotage yourself and mess up your health? That's why we have such the problems we do in our society. The United States, yes, we have our own greatness, but we're also known as one of the most obese nations in the world. I ain't got to tell you that, because if I was telling you other than that, why would you have those commercials on TV only to see the same commercial with a lawyer behind it saying, "Did you try this? Have you had that? If so, call." It's about your temple, y'all. It's about your temple because you only have one. That without this, you couldn't move around on this blessed planet. That's why it's always good and it's always meant for you to be real with yourself. I mean, bottom line, guess what? Nobody's going to do your work. I know I'm talking to somebody. You think you're supposed to be sitting around pissed off at that person over there? You should be pissed off at yourself because the reality is they don't give a damn about you. They don't. Because if they did, at the least, why can't they tell you how they really feel? See, that's transparency. Because, see, that's also defining a real friend, too. And you'll come to know in your journeys of life that your friends will be small. Sure, everybody will want to have access to your life, especially if you're alluring. That's what separates us from the next person. We are unique in our own ways, but we have commonalities and viewpoints that we all share. So, you're probably wondering why I titled the video I did. I don't believe it because I know this message right here is going to go to someone. I woke up this morning feeling very, very good. And I know why. See, yesterday, y'all, I decided to make me a smoothie. And I have one of those professional blenders like you have at the tropical, your professional smoothie place. I own one. I have one. So the night before last, Sunday night, on the way home, I stopped at my local grocery store and I bought all these fruit. But guess what I also bought, y'all? I know somebody gonna be like, ooh, I bought me some beets. I know someone's like, look, if somebody had said, hey, you're gonna eat this, I would look at you, and if I had to run through a plate glass window before, I would do that without even thinking. Now, I did do some research, and I don't really feel bad because I realized that I think this, if I'm correct, it said 40% of the world populace don't like beets. So I don't feel bad. But I knew for myself I had a phobia, a fear, and I don't know where it came from. And I can only assume it was generated when I was very little, when I was a child. And I've never dealt, you couldn't even put me in the same room, and if I smelled the scent of it, I don't care how you processed it. Uh-uh. But see, I know there's somebody right now, you're saying, well, I feel that way towards broccoli, Gerald. I don't like I don't like Brussels sprouts. That's my kryptonite. So, not to be winded, yesterday got me some oranges, got me some apples, and I brought them beets out. Still had the mud on them, y'all. I mean, I was like, did they pull this right off the street and just throw it up there for display? It is a root. So I turned around and I read that even though the bulb itself has like 10 I want to say 10 to 12 positives about for this. This is what you would categorize as a wonder food. All your vitamin requirements are found in that one plant. Um, it's great for your, I mean, all the way around for your body. That one plant will give you. And I was just blown away. But in the back of my mind, that fear was saying, hey, you know it's nasty, right? And I was just scrunching my face like, But you know what I did, y'all? I read that the stems has a little bit more potency. So I cut the stems, I diced them up, threw it in my blender. Got some oranges and some apples, dropped some ice in there, with about that much water. 20 seconds, smoothie, done. Before I even had my first taste, my lips was like, don't do it, don't do it. You know what I did, y'all? I said a little prayer like Lord, I know you're not gonna forsake me, and I know that this is gonna bless me even more. And bam, I didn't taste nothing like I thought. It actually was great. And my energy level, just from those three things, lasted me the entire day. It was 11 o'clock, 11 p.m., and I'm still like, wow. I'm like, okay, what have I been cheating myself from? So if you got an issue with, being tired, your stress level, you may have some blood issues. It's a, it's the best thing that you can use naturally. Just that one for your immune system. It will give your body an overhaul. If you add that to your diet. Now that I got that out the way, so I go to work yesterday, and would you believe the main discussion was, why'd you cut your hair? I actually had people pissed off that I cut my hair. And all I could do was laugh, because what I realized underlining was it's human behavior for people to see you in a certain light. They want to compartmentalize how you relate to them. So I had a lot of people shook, but I, even in the midst of that, you know, I just dumbed it down. But I learned something. I understood what India Arie, the artist India Arie, she had a song out about, I think now, 8 years, called I Am Not My Hair. My hair is an extension of me. My personality is not in my hair, but we as people want to identify by the things we see visually and make it so. Don't have one regret at all. I don't. But you know what I told those people? I said my my main priority in growing my hair was spiritual, number one. And that was something that I took on. And I've noticed most people that will make that sacrifice to do something that they normally won't do, you'll get a reward out of it if it's positive for you. So what I told these folks was, I said, listen, my hair has nothing to do with my work ethic. My hair has nothing to do with my decision making. My hair has nothing to do with the way I articulate, the way I communicate. It means nothing. But I tell you what, if it is God's will, and he'll let me know if he wants it to be, and it'll grow again. That's how I see it. So with that being said, I feel a transformation going on inside myself. And like I've graduated and I'm going into the next level of my physical evolution. And I know this may come off a little contradictory because you see Gerald doing this. He got a cigarette, but he talking about health stuff. Okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. But you do have to acknowledge the brick. That's for somebody. So I'm throwing this out now. I'm going to speak this into existence. The man that you see here today is not going to be the man that you see in the summertime. Because see, what you don't know is my normal body weight fluctuates between 212 to 218 pounds, right? I wanted to get to 245 pounds. That's why my jaws are the way they are. You said, well, why did you want to put on an extra 30 pounds? Because what I'm going to do is enhance my physique. See, the camera doesn't do justice because you're like, oh, he looks small. But actually, my weight now is 235 pounds. And I'm solid. But the human body holds 15 pounds of water. So right there, that puts me right back down at 220. But I've started to really embrace a holistical uh, understanding because, God said it best. All that you need is found in the ground. So I've always been, guys, I'm like the goat, y'all. There's very few things I won't eat. Beets was the number one. But pretty much everything else, if you put it in my face, I'm gonna eat it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I realized for myself that the beat was a symbolization. It symbolized a deep fear of something else, and that was a trigger for me. So anything that had to do with that, I shunned it. I distanced. I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. That waved a little white flag. You got it. You won't get no argument from myself. And I'm going to turn the corner on this point because that's only part of it. But I'm embracing a more healthier life. So these are going to go back. These are going to go away sooner than you think because you can't strive to be healthy and then embrace things that really hold you back. So I look forward to that change as well because ultimately, y'all, my goal is before the end of the summer, I want to get back to running 5 miles. So I used to run when I was young. I'd run 5 to 8 miles like it wasn't nothing. I do 5 miles in like 16 minutes. It wasn't nothing. I loved it. I was a gym rat. I mean, I didn't hang out in the clubs. If you saw me, I'm in the gym pumping some steel. I got a good workout on, and I like the result of work of that regimen because your body will give you that back. So let's turn that corner. Don't be surprised. Like I said, I'm speaking this into existence. So when this happens, You can say, well, he did tell us. And that brings me to you. Because, see, I know some of y'all are really, really having a hard time with your associations. People that say one thing, do another, or you may be just downright in a place where you feel that your life is stagnant. Let's put a spin on that word stagnant. Stagnant, because stagnant means to not flow, but metaphorically, stagnation means death. Because there's no growth, then that's death. So I believe that when we hit plateaus, we hit those plateaus to look at what's present or what's not. I believe that because God is so good, He's a custom tailored God. He will use whatever He needs to get your attention. Yep. He'll use whatever it is, and you'll know. So you may be in the back of your mind be saying, well, Drew, I think I'm losing my mind. My voice, I hear these voices, and I feel kind of cloudy, and I don't understand. I'm kind of like in this fog. Well, I can say this from a spiritual standpoint. See, the devil already knows your legacy, but he needs free will from you to derail it. I know that needs to go out to somebody. And I think that right now, you're coming to a place that you have to respect your emotions. You're embracing them. You're stepping out on faith, and you're taking accountability for your life. And you're starting to see the nuances of choices made. Now, you may be in a position right now where things are not so comfortable. Well, guess what? Haven't you noticed anything that's worth value for your life is never comfortable? It's never comfortable. You know why? Because what is being shown is the tangible worth of the action. If anybody could go out and buy a brand new car, everybody will have cars. But you remember the things that you had to do, maybe good or bad, to obtaining those keys. I know I'm talking to someone. You may be teetering right now on a decision, and there may be an option right before you and say, well, you know what? If you play ball with me, I'm going to help you score this. And you feel a certain kind of way. I know I'm talking to someone because God put that in my heart. You're saying, well, you know what? It seems glittery. It has all the tangible uh, displays of the things I desire, but you know in your heart of heart, that's not what you need. And you're telling yourself, I'm not for sale. I'm not going to be bought. You can't play me. What I need more than ever can't be bought. It might be somebody right now. You might be saying, you know what, Gerald? I've already gotten past that immature stage of buying time with gifts and trinkets. But what I really need is a friend. I'm talking to you. Let me tell you something. The greatest friend you're gonna ever have is the one looking right in that mirror, looking right back at you. Because when you consciously make a decision to ground your feet, your life will get real with you. You're starting to say, well, Gerald, I used to be that person who used to live up in a club. Guess what? In my 20s, I was all up in that club. I was that cat that was always there. I was always up in a, back then they didn't have VIP. But you best believe I was perched like an eagle watching what was going down. And some things, and I'll tell you what, you want to see something funny? The next time you opt to go to a club, don't drink nothing. Don't drink nothing that will impair your judgment. And I tell you, you will see some of the most funniest things you've ever seen. Because there's going to be somebody that's going to make a fool or show you some things about yourself that you weren't aware of. I know I'm talking to somebody. So if you think because you're going through something right now, that is the end all be all, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe it. But what is required is that you trust God. And I know I'm talking to somebody. What happened to all that in assertiveness that you and bravado that you tell them? All that energy that you use to project to them. Why don't you take that same energy and project it within yourself? How about what you waiting on? Why won't you have that conversation with God? Don't you realize how much different you will feel? Some of y'all walking around with burdens and that are not even yours, but you is placed on your heart. And ain't nothing worse to have the burdens of someone else and that person don't even give a damn. You know why they don't give a damn? Because they don't see the train wreck that is about to happen. But they feel it when they in it. Y'all, what I just described is your spiritual storm. And the thing about a spiritual storm, it's a blessing in disguise. You say, well, how's that, Gerald? I feel like that I'm about to have a nervous breakdown because that's not what a nervous breakdown is, really. It's when your mind, your body, and your spirit comes together as one, and a spiritual inventory of actions done, said, and received is brought into review, and you're sorting it out in your mind, and you're saying, ah, that's why you did that when I said this. That's why I don't have that because of what I said to him. Because everything comes full circle, y'all. Don't get it twisted and think that because it's behind closed doors, it's not revealed. Because guess what? Your arms are not long enough to box with God or tell God how your life is going to play out. Because He created you. You remember that last mishap you just had? I know I'm talking to somebody. You had a mishap that shook you some kind of deep. Some of y'all may have had a health scare. And you said, it, you're going through the process of healing and it's hurting you. I got a feeling somebody's dealing with some internal pains. And the people that are in your circle are just giving you fluffer communication. And they're like, well, you are getting old. You know, you did play pretty hard when you were younger. Or worse, they tell you this. Nothing. They see you sitting over there tired. They see they see you're hurting, but they don't give you no support. They don't even make time to say, hey, I don't fully understand, but I hope you're going to be all right. It takes 5 seconds to do that now, don't it? But it takes you being real to say it because it comes from your heart. I know I'm talking to someone. You know what's funny, y'all? I say this figuratively. I done ran my mouth and I didn't get to smoke this damn cigarette. Excuse my French. But I'm going to smoke me a cigarette in a minute. Do you realize there are people that are willfully sacrificing their lives just for a rep, just for a reputation, just for a status, just for security. That's right, kings. Don't you ever think for 1 second that some of these queens out here will not marry for security. So let's talk about that. You elect to align yourself now, you give the greatest gift, your life, to a stranger. But there's no love there, just possessive connection, material access. Because that's what revenue is, y'all. Revenue, no matter how it is, gems, resources, currency, all that does is afford you access. But I ask this to you. If there's no love in it, if there's no love in it, can you not be surprised the reaction that comes because you put a price tag on your life? You've said, this is my worth. And if you have this, you can have me. What separates you from that item found in the store? At least we know that the thing that was in the store, it was made by man's hands. And what do I always convey? Everything made by man's hands is made temporarily. It's not made forever because it has a natural expiration date. So you're choosing to depreciate yourself by association. And some people go to sleep at night with a clear conscience. You know why the conscience is clear? Because they ain't got one. They ain't got one. Let me tell you something, y'all. Your soul is not for sale. Your body is not for sale. That beautiful mind is not for sale. But if you embrace the mindset that it is, what separates you from that person that walks the night? You say, well, I don't, I meet people online, Gerald, but you make a calculated decision to make yourself available to a certain clientele of people. You're not doing it for their looks. Some do. 9 times out of 10 is a premeditated disposition. No different than you hear this. I only date doctors. I only date athletes. But here's the funny thing about it. You think those people that have that accolade don't realize why you there? That's the number one thing that's used as bait. So you can't expect them to truly treasure you. Yeah, they'll treasure the moment of controlling you because they know that if you do not do what they require, they're going to replace you. Or when they feel the depreciation of their time by aligning themselves with you is not beneficial. That is shallow. That is also a true example of someone that is manipulative and has control issues. That's not your life. Never was, never shall be. That's why I will always tell you, don't believe the hype. Some of y'all have not even tapped into your calling yet. Some of y'all don't even know what your purpose is. That's why I've echoed in the past. You want to see your friendship worth? Ask them what their purpose is. And if they can't tell you, then guess what? That's nothing but a descriptive example of how they view you. Because likeness attracts the same. We are what we attract. But unfortunately, misery loves company. You may not even realize you may have somebody that covertly align themselves with you because they see you as an opportunity to better themselves. But what if that does not spawn growth? What if that does not stimulate the better or the best you? Why won't you question why they're there? Or better yet, why don't you question why you're there? See, your self-worth, your emotional state is found within. That was given to you the moment you took your first breath. So for those who are fighting this battle of why do I keep attracting the same caliber of people, it's because the same traits that they possess is found inside you still. And it's no surprise. You can't heal anything if you do not acknowledge it exists to begin with. So you're not a walking contradiction, but they're going to convince you that way. Some of y'all there may be somebody right now dealing with some severe emotional abuse, and I question my question to you is this: Why? Why do you align yourself with the abuser? I know somebody's saying, "Well, Gerald, I got kids. I got kids, Gerald. I'm just waiting until they get old enough, and I'm up out." That's the most selfish thing you could ever do. I'm gonna tell you why. Because each day that you choose not to love yourself, you are inadvertently allowing your children to adapt the traits and the behaviors shown by both of you. So guess what happens? They, the perceptions that were ingrained by your behaviors, they're gonna play that out. You got fathers, you got a little boy, he see you ripping and running, he gonna think that's what love is. That's what men are supposed to do. But unfortunately, what's gonna happen is she's gonna be attracted to a woman that will never respect him because she's gonna have the same traits as he does. And he's gonna think, wow, I've met my equal. But underlining, want to change that person. You can't change somebody or make someone do what they don't want to do. That's why I tell you right now, stop buying into other people's lies. If they can't tell you the truth, even though it may be painful to hear, they don't deserve to hear you breathe. So who's playing the victim? Who's playing the martyr? Who's not living their lives? I know I'm talking to someone. You saying, well, Gerald, he's the best I ever had, but he treats me terrible. Who told you that? Why don't you tell the truth? The truth is, you like how he makes you feel. You may be sexually, I don't want to use the word addicted, but you may be. You can't change something you won't acknowledge exists. And that's the thing, too. We live in a world where you have narcissism, you have sexual addictions. Sexual addictions are glamorized. What? That means you never fulfill. That means you're going to always, that's what the true term thirsty is all about. You can never get that fix. You can never get high enough. But the truth is, you're trying to mask something by behavior instead of having the courage to claim your life back. That's not supposed to be you. You're not supposed to be walking around like this, or you can't be yourself because you're with them. If you can't be yourself, why are you there? Hmm? What they got over you? What have they brainwashed you to believe that without them your life stops? Maybe because you know the devil's a lie. Maybe those experiences that you thought were blessings were really nothing but illustrations of what you could do on your own merits. I know I'm talking to someone. He calls you every name out of the book, and you physically allowed him to exploit you. He's done everything he wanted to do to you twice on Sunday, but you still won't leave him alone. But you still want people to feel sorry for you. Do you not realize what is going on? You are what we call embrace. That's Stockholm Syndrome. That's what Stockholm Syndrome is all about. But if you don't choose to get your mind right by getting your heart right, you'll never live your life. You realize how many people make a conscious decision to settle. I'm just gonna sit over here and play my part. Oh, you got this one. I'm just gonna be here long enough till I can get something out of it. Don't you realize anything that's given that is not of your merits, you're gonna lose because it's not blessed. I know I'm talking to someone. You got it. You at the point now. You seen the things you've acquired, and it make your skin crawl. Why? Because you knew what you had to do to get that, and there's a whole lot of guilt and shame. But you listen to your circle, and they say, "Oh no, dumb down, no, to get where you need to be, you got to do stuff. That ain't your walk. That's not your walk. So I don't believe that your life is supposed to be where it is. I believe your life is going to be higher, different. And with that, you're going to see it for yourself. And some of y'all going to go through some stuff that you're going to really think you are really living hell. Some of y'all living hell right now. Some of y'all are prisoners in your own home. But from the outside, you got that illusion like everything's straight. That ain't the truth, y'all. What about that little boy and that little girl that lives inside your spirit? Hmm? What about your conscience? So does it surprise you that you're having a hard time sleeping at night now? You go to sleep and you just still rested. You're not resting because your mind is running. It's running nonstop. You like, I just want peace. And so what do? You just jump in your ride and just drive. because that's the only time you actually have me time. You can get all the me time you desire the moment that you connect with God. Unless you're doing this to prove to yourself that, well, I'm strong enough to deal. hmm But here's what you don't realize. You'll also be fulfilling a long listed a prophecy, a self. That's what I'm saying. Somebody's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Somebody's feeling it right now because you saw something long ago and you said it'll never happen to me. And then voila, it is manifested. Let me tell you something. The moment that you decide to stop lying to yourself, your environment will stop lying back. The moment that you start forgiving yourself for everything you've done, the shackles will fall from your spirit. How about them soul ties? How about them one night stands? If you got to do everything in the darkness, there's no pride. There's no, how can you be proud during the day, during the light? But as long as you listen to those people, they are going to systematically destroy your life. Because the truth be told, they don't want to see the best you. Because if you are able to tap into the best you, they already know that you're going to leave them. They know that, and they can't afford that because they enjoy using you as the merry-go-round. So shame the devil, call on God, and watch what he shows you. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Somebody right now has got a smirk on their face like you ain't talking to me. Don't you realize your smile is real as a piece of paper? It's fake. The real you is ready to come out, but it's your life. Choose your pain or choose your steps. Be blessed.